And I just start by thanking you for coming by.
Sure.
And finding somewhat of an interest in the foundation of the center, Church at the Center. Precious, precious episode.
The origins of Church at the Center can be traced back to the 2000s in a series of tent meetings that were held in the Seven Springs area of Lisbon, Ohio. Hope Tice recalls one of those very events.
Well, we decided to have an old-fashioned tent meeting. We're bringing in the Gaithers from Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
And they were to stay with us in the community there. And then we were going to we had the tent meeting for a whole weekend, sometimes for a whole week. And Tim was our preacher.
As those tent meetings continued, a small group of hungry believers began to pray for the nation together at the home of Dan and Lynn Wittenmeyer in Lisbon, Ohio on July 21st, 2011. John Glenn recalls what some of those early meetings were like.
We started out in a small prayer meeting out at Dan Whitmeyer's house, and there was a handful of people, and it kept growing and growing and growing. And for a while, I'd go by myself because my wife didn't want to go. So basically, I kept telling her, "You need to come because these people are different."
After receiving direction from the Lord, the group was led to hold its first Sunday service on November 27th, 2011 in Salem. Don and Judy Houston graciously offered the use of their building, which was known at the time as the Salem Banquet Center. Later that same week, the group formally elected a board of elders and filed the appropriate paperwork with the state of Ohio. It was at this time that the Church at the Center got its name. The Salem Banquet Center was known in the community as the Center, and when the church began to meet there, they referred to themselves simply as the Church at the Center. Rebecca Glenn recalls the first time she visited Church at the Center on 2nd Street.
And so our first actual day of coming to the Church at the Center was on 2nd Street, and it was Mother's Day 2012. And we were riding around on a Sunday morning and just debating on trying to find another church, and my husband said, "Let's go to Church at the Center." I said, "All right, we'll give it a try," and I'm glad we did.
By September 2nd of 2012, the church had outgrown the Salem Banquet Center and was relocating. The church began to rent the west wing of the Salem Community Center. A few months later, the church celebrated its one-year anniversary with a very special service. As the church continued to grow, the Lord opened the doors for the church to purchase a building located at 1785 South Lincoln Avenue in Salem on June 16th of 2015. Before it could be used, however, the building required some significant remodeling, and a team of dedicated volunteers and workers came together to see this happen. After moving into its newly remodeled building, the church enjoyed several years of blessing and stability. They still gathered to pray with a desire to see the Lord move in a mighty way. And at the start of 2020, the Lord did indeed start to move. COVID-19 affected just about every facet of our society, and churches were no exception. As the COVID-19 pandemic began, Pastor Tim was led to start an outdoor drive-in style worship service, preaching on a flatbed trailer in the parking lot of the church. No one at Church at the Center could imagine what the Lord had in store. After the initial drive-in service, the parking area had to be expanded to accommodate the number of cars that were attending. In addition to this, construction started on an outdoor platform. In early 2021, a commercial quality LED screen was installed in the parking lot. The structure for the screen was designed and fabricated right here in Salem by Fred Baker and the Baker Welding Supply Company. As soon as the construction of the LED screen was completed, construction began on a new state-of-the-art 25,000 square foot drive-in worship facility. The first service in this new building was held on Christmas Eve in 2021. Today, the future still continues to be bright for Church at the Center. In May of 2022, the church was blessed to be able to purchase 9.23 acres of land, which adjoin to the current property. We know that God has a plan and a purpose, and we are excited to see where He will be leading Church at the Center next.